My first job in college was at the University of Delaware Government Documents area, and for a couple of years I worked there and got to know a lot of librarians. And honestly, it was a fascinating place. And I was an English literature student, and so it just fostered a deeper love of books. I think that's probably the one thing that all librarians have is a love of books, and I have that as well, so I have a fondness for it. You know, we have a brand new library near us. It's in La Crescenta. It's a great library. They just finished it. And given all the budget cuts around the country, I was really surprised that they put in this state-of-the-art library. It's a great place for me to go. Oddly, I do writing in libraries, so I don't do as much research there, although sometimes I will. A lot of the books that I go for are very obscure. In particular, this book, when I'm looking for something on an arcane technology, I will typically go onto the web, contact the people who are involved, whether they be academics or whatever. Sometimes I will do the research at the library, but more often than not, I find myself writing there. I think it's a disaster. Now, I am a technology guy, and I have a Kindle, I have an ebook and all that, but I personally like having books as physical objects because, again, being a technologist, a guy who worked on databases, I don't like the idea of moving everything into a cloud that can be altered after the fact. I like the idea of legacy paper basically keeping the corpus of our culture in physical form that is available to everybody and cannot be easily redacted or changed. And I look at libraries and librarians as sort of the stewards of that. In many ways, the stewards of our culture. And if they're curating a collection that is physical, that you can get some tactile feel, you can interact with it. I don't know. I just think that's irreplaceable. And if we get rid of it, we won't get it back. And that's why I'm very much for funding of libraries. I think it's a disaster to underfund them. And there's no going back once we get rid of these libraries. So, I don't know. I know I'm sounding like like I'm ranting, but I feel very passionate about it. I do. When I was in high school, this is a public high school in New Jersey, and again, I won't say what year, but I took an advanced placement English class, and so, what was I? 16, and one of the books we read was Jerzy Kosinski's The Painted Bird. And for anybody who's read that didn't damage me as a child. It was a very disturbing but informative book about life and some of the things that happen in life, and we were expected to be mature enough to handle it, and we did. And the idea of somehow shielding people from information, down that pathway, all sorts of bad things lie. I think we have to have libraries available, and we shouldn't be banning books of any type. As objectionable as some people might find the content, it's a bad idea to ban it, because I think exposing people to ideas never hurts. Never hurts. Kill Decision is a book about autonomous drones. The term kill decision is actually a reference to the military term of making a kill decision. That is, in a military context, an officer giving authorization to use lethal force. Given technology and drones, that decision is moving towards an algorithmic decision. And that to me is a watershed moment when we change the nature of combat by moving it over into an algorithm that will decide it. And people hear that and they think it's science fiction sounding. But there are actually two kill decision capable pieces of military hardware in the world right now. They're sniper stations. One is in the DMZ between North and South Korea, and another one is in the Gaza Strip, that are capable of eliminating targets without any human input. And this is only going to expand for a number of reasons. The cost, risk to our own soldiers, the ubiquity of the technology. And this is a book about that move and what's driving that move. So it's a thriller, it's a tech thriller. And again, with all of my thrillers, this is a very accurate book. I try to make it very technologically accurate. So it's a well-researched book. So that's what my current book is about.